So, here's someone else's problem we'll get to talk about. They're 34 years old. I'm 34 years old and I feel like I'm living two completely different lives. On paper, everything looks fine. I've been married for 6 years, own a small house, have a stable job, but lately, I wake up every day with this heavy feeling that I'm just existing. My husband is kind, but we've stopped talking about anything real. Most nights we eat dinner in silence while scrolling on our phones. A few months ago, I reconnected with an old friend from uni. He's married too, but talking to him made me feel alive for the first time in years. We haven't crossed any lines, but I catch myself waiting for this message, and it scares me. I don't want to blow up my life, I just want to feel something again. How do you figure out whether you're bored with your life or just unhappy in your marriage? First of all, I'll start off saying and addressing any problem that there is every time, that you've got to get your foundation right. Are you eating, are you sleeping, and are you training your body? They're the three foundations that you've got to sort yourself out with first before you can even judge if anything in your life is an issue. Because your body is going to trick you into thinking things if you're not keeping it active, if you're not fueling it right, and if you're not resting it. So there's the foundation that you've got to look at every time with any problem. So to me, it sounds like Claire's life isn't the life that she wants. And there's a reason for that. And the reasons are the actions she's taken. No one's forced to behave or do certain things, especially in this culture we're in England. You're not forced to live a life that you don't want to live. It's obviously hard stepping out of that mold and doing something different. But that's stepping out your comfort zone. That's doing what everyone else isn't prepared to do, because the easy life isn't always the right life. The easy path might not be the path that you should be taking. For most of us, it's not. For me, I know from my experience that you've got to be doing stuff that takes you out your comfort zone. That's almost what makes you feel alive. The fear, being scared to take a risk, being scared to dream. I'm a dreamer. In my life, I'm a dreamer. And it might be unrealistic. It might be delusional, even in a sense. But you have to dream. You have to take risks. You have to look at a life and say, I want that because it's hard to get. And it's not the achievement that you're going to get that's the point. It's who it makes you become. It's all the emotion it makes you feel during the process of getting that dream. You want to feel alive. Claire wants to feel like she's living. Meeting this other person from uni, it can reignite emotions from the past, from a time when you probably felt alive. Uni, it's not realistic. It's not what life is. And it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel great. So you're comparing and you're bringing all those other feelings up. Maybe you don't see your friends enough. So maybe it's just this big spark and this big surge of energy from seeing people and chatting. You're seeing someone and you're getting stuff off your chest. You're talking about your life. You're probably talking about problems. They're talking about problems. And you're getting things off your chest. And you're almost analysing your life as well, in a sense, when you're chatting with people. I know for me, when I feel a bit stagnant, when I feel like life's getting a bit repetitive, a bit boring, you're getting used to it. You need that thing to think about every day, to push yourself, something to fear, something to really kick your ass into gear. When you're feeling or you're lacking that, for me, I know when I see my friends, it resets me. Or I do something out of that routine, it resets me. And the way I relate to this problem is, this year I went to Australia for a month, just short of a month. And before going, I was completely happy, which is different to what Claire's feeling. But I was almost completely used to my life right now. I was settled, everything was fucking great. Go to Australia and life turns upside down because it was so amazing. Because there was this surge of emotions, this almost lifelong dream I've accomplished and gone over there, and it's a stunning place. It's a dream to be over there. You come back and you feel like your life is just boring. You feel like you've took the wrong path. Your whole life is wrong. That's what it feels. You feel uncomfortable day to day in the decisions that you make that seem boring because you've had this surge, because you've had this achievement. You've experienced more beauty than you do in your current day to day. And the way it relates to Claire is your life's been that boring or that steady, that routine has stayed the same, that when you step out of that, when something changes, when something gives you a spark, it feels bigger than it is. And that guilt of feeling like it's your husband's fault, your partner's fault, shows to me of what you actually want. Shows to me that you recognize that it might not be realistic. But I also say, what are you keeping inside? Can you not speak these emotions to your partner? And I know it's such a risky thing. It's, God, why would you ever want to tell your partner that? It would upset them. Obviously, there's a way to talk about this. Delve into the emotions. Sit on it a week. I presume you've sat on it at least a week. And delve and say, listen, is it because I don't like the partner I'm with and I actually like the guy, the other person? But at the end of the day, you've met that other person once, or even if it's a couple of times. That's not life. You're getting the best parts of that person. You're not arguing. You're not seeing the bad traits. You're not seeing the disagreements because it's this perfect situation. And this is what I say with relationships, is people have an unrealistic expectation of what a true relationship is. You see it in the films. You see this perfect romance. Everything's fine, or you have an argument and the next day you solve it, you apologize and everyone's happy. No one holds any grudges. The films and the dream that you see a relationship as of this perfection isn't real. It's false. A relationship is two people working very hard to stay together, working hard to love each other. And it's I don't know, it might be controversial to say, or goes against the grain to say that you have to work hard to keep a relationship. You have to work hard to keep love. But you're two people living life and you're two people going through life. It's complicated. It's not this perfection. You'll probably love someone less or feel like you love someone less. You'll still love them. Things will get in the way. You'll spend less time with each other. You'll drift apart a little bit. Different actions you'll agree with or whatever. But if you just let a relationship go and you don't work on it, and you don't, like I said, if you don't open up to each other, if you don't talk about the bad times of how you're feeling down, you could just take this situation as a case of this person, this uni friend that I've seen has took me out of my routine, took me out of my cycle of life and said, listen, I need to step out my comfort zone. I need to switch things up. Address that with your partner and say, how do you feel about your life? Do you feel the same? Because he might be thinking the same thing. He might go and see his mate and think, tell you what, when I'm home, it's just not it. We sit around the table on our phone all the time. Don't feel connected to my missus. All it means is there's an action missing. It's not personal. You once loved each other. You once felt that same feeling you're feeling right now towards that uni person. You felt that towards your husband or your boyfriend, whatever, your partner. You felt that towards them. It's just gone. More than likely because you stopped working on it. Things have got comfortable. When you get comfortable, you get lazy. That's why you need something to kick you up the arse. And it's tough to choose suffering. It's tough to choose to step out your comfort zone because just like in the morning, that nice warm bed, when you're underneath those covers, it's fucking beautiful. And getting up early or getting up to go to the gym, getting up to do something, why would you do that when this bed is nice, warm and comfy? But the act of choosing to get up, to say, one, I've had enough comfort. It's now time to get going. I look at it as humans, genetically, historically, we're meant to be out there doing stuff. Hunter-gatherer times, you're always doing stuff. Like I said, you've got to communicate in a relationship. This is what makes me laugh, because you listen to podcasts and you listen to experts talk about how to have a healthy relationship, and everyone knows you've got to communicate. But when it comes to actually communicating, you just talk about the good stuff. Oh, how's your day been? All that jazz. Most of us don't communicate the stuff that we don't want to talk about, that we think is going to upset the person. That's the stuff that these experts are talking about. That's the stuff that you've got to get off your chest. And if you can't come to a solution when you got something off your chest that might insult the other person, you've not worked on your relationship enough. You don't know the other person enough. Why don't you focus on that instead of running away? Instead of choosing the easy option. Again, the easy option is, we'll go have all this fun with this uni guy, this old friend. That's the easy way. But what's just going to happen is you're going to get with that person, and after however many years, you're just going to be in the same boat. You're going to meet someone else and they're going to give you that spark. They're going to give you that dopamine spike. And you're going to debate this again. And are you going to run again? What you've got is probably good enough now. You got into it. There was a time when you was happy. Think about that. There was a time when you was happy. Let's just try and get that back. Why? Look, why was you happy there? And then, why are you not happy now? You're actively saying in the message, you sat there just scrolling on the phone. You want to communicate. You want to talk to each other. You're disconnecting. And again, in this age, it's tough because there's so much entertainment over there, over here. I could sit all day and scroll on my phone. I could sit and watch Netflix all day and not talk to my girlfriend. You've got to avoid the easy way, the comfortable way. I also think this with relationships, because I think in my relationship, it's a big thing for my partner of what she wants. Date nights are a set time when you connect with each other. But the world goes away and you're just focused on you two. And now I need it less than my partner, and my partner wants it more of me. And that's a fault of mine, that I sort of don't need that. I can connect in different ways. So you've got to understand what your partner wants. Understand and know that they're different than you. What actions are you taking to build up your relationship? And a lot of people will say, then it becomes one-sided. You're the person that are doing that. It does not become one-sided if you communicate. And by communicate, it's not having a shouting match, arguing. Sure, sometimes that happens. Happens in my relationship. You argue, you upset each other, you apologize, and you come to a solution. Sometimes that's what it takes. And don't forget, there are professionals out there. I always think about my relationship, and I always think if it ever was going down the drain, if it was ever collapsing, and let's say I wanted to go, you can't help what the other person wants, what they're going to do, if they're not going to communicate and it's not a healthy relationship. But for me, if I ever start feeling trapped or any negative sort of way in my relationship, I'm going to go to a professional. I'm going to go to a therapist. One, to try and say, is it me? Try and delve into who I am and say, am I the problem? No, I'm not the problem. Let's go. Let's go to couples counselling. Let's talk this through. Let's get help from someone else, because we can't do it on our own. Look at anything in life. Look at your job. You're not just chucked into your job and expected to know what you're doing. You're trained. You might have an apprenticeship. You might go to uni. You might study. With any task, the tasks that you just chucked into them, you don't learn properly. You'll make mistakes until someone comes along and teaches you. Why do we do it in that scenario, but we don't do it in our relationships, in our life? Why does it feel wrong, feel like a disaster to get help? It can be a stereotype of, if you're in couples counselling, your relationship's going wrong. What as if you're just teaching yourselves how to be in a relationship? Because it's not as simple as just existing together. Humans have too many emotions for us to just be together and it works. There's too many factors in life that affect us. We've got too many insecurities where we can just exist, where we can just get through life, shoving all our emotions down inside us. There's too many things in life that make us enjoy the comforts. If you're still worried after all that you're in the wrong relationship, that you've made a mistake, you've got to own up to it. For the other person, you've got to own up to the mistake you've made. For again, you'll have chose the easy way. There'll have been a time when you'll have been lonely, when you'll have wanted a relationship to make yourself feel better. That's usually the mistake people make. They get in a relationship because they want something, not to give. People don't get into relationships to give most of the time. You always want something, you feel lonely, you want that pleasure. And some people get into relationships because they really like that pleasure, because they almost don't have their own life that they can live. They need someone else to fulfill their life, to give their life a meaning, to make their life feel good. Whereas that's your job. That's what you're meant to do. And this situation could be just the case of a mistake that you've made when you was younger, and you've avoided it over however many years you've been in this relationship. And just because you made a mistake at the start, don't mean it don't come to bite you in the ass eventually, and you've just been avoiding it. That's the other side of the coin. If this relationship isn't right, if that spark with that other person has shown you something, you've got to own up to your mistake. You've got to do some soul searching. You've got to look inside you and say, what do you want? Is it the case of this guy's just give you a bit of dopamine, a bit of change of routine? Or is it the person you chose to be with was never the person that you wanted to be with? They just filled a hole. They just filled something you weren't able to achieve yourself. You weren't able to achieve happiness, to feel joy yourself, to be independent. You took the easy way out again. And this is the moment where you choose the tough moment. I've been in that situation when I was younger. I've been with girls that I've made a mistake with because I've been the same. I was seeking the pleasure. I was seeking comfort. I felt lonely when I was younger. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel loved. So I'm out there searching for it, to feel fulfillment for someone else to make me feel better, because I'm not dealing with the problems that I've got. Not dealing with the problems that I've got with the insecurities that I'm living with day to day. I'm not addressing. For me, I was keeping everything inside, not telling anyone about any issues, numbing everything in my life. So I can't feel any love. So the love around me that I already have, I can't feel. And I think the problem is it's not there. So I've got to look out elsewhere to try and find it. And what personally happened with me is after about 3 months, I lost the feeling for that person. I said, what am I doing? This isn't the person I want to be with. But the risky thing is, you go back to being alone. One, you break someone's heart and you upset them. That's tough in itself. No one talks about that. Everyone just thinks you're a knobhead because you break up with someone. When you're that person compared to being broken up with, everyone just thinks you're a knobhead. But you've just saved that person valuable time in their life. Because Claire, she could have been someone that chose the easy path and had doubts at the start and said, I'll overlook them because I'm scared to be alone. She might not have actually said that, but maybe they were the unconscious feelings that she was having. But yeah, that's addressing Claire's issue. Anyone else has any problems they want to hear my opinion on, let me discuss, or let's have some help. There's no harm. Everyone has problems, everyone has issues that they don't know the solutions to. Just give me a DM on whatever platform you see this on. You know, mainly this is on YouTube, so put it in the comments, or I've got a link to all my other social medias. Message me on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and I can go through yours, because I fucking love doing this. And the ones that I've got already, some I've found on Reddit and some I've had a message themselves just to find that solution for them, to help them out. And we all need a little bit of help in life. Anyway, peace.